It's not just Arsenal or Liverpool Pep Guardiola needs to worry about this season. There's a new tactical genius in town. Enzo Maresca, fresh off an impressive start at Chelsea, is now Pep's most unpredictable threat. And if you think Maresca is just another disciple of Pep's system, think again, because he's bringing something to the Premier League that might just catch Guardiola off guard. The question is, how long before Pep starts feeling the heat? Enzo Maresca isn't just another coach influenced by Pep Guardiola. He's more than that. He's a coach who studied Guardiola's style, worked alongside him, and now he's taking those ideas and turning them into something uniquely dangerous. At Chelsea, Maresca has implemented a system built on dominating possession. But here's the twist. He's not simply mimicking Pep. While Guardiola's Manchester City uses wide wingers to stretch the field, Maresca focuses on overloading the centre. His fullbacks, like Malo Gusto, invert into midfield, creating a back three in possession. This allows Chelsea to dominate the middle of the pitch, keeping the ball moving quickly and pulling opponents out of position. Key players like Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo are pivotal to this setup, with Fernandez often pushing higher to link up with Cole Palmer in the number 10 role. Palmer's ability to find space and execute quick passes has made Chelsea's attack much more unpredictable, mirroring Guardiola's use of inside forwards, but with a stronger emphasis on central dominance. And this is where things get tricky for Pep. Maresca isn't just following his lead, he's evolving the possession game in ways that Guardiola hasn't faced before. Chelsea's ability to create overloads in the centre, combined with rapid, precise passing, was on full display during their 6-2 demolition of Wolves. It's not just about keeping the ball, it's about breaking teams apart. The real danger for Guardiola: Maresca knows how to adapt. Against high-pressing opponents, he's already shown a willingness to tweak his system, making Chelsea unpredictable. Maresca's ability to evolve his tactics and break down stubborn defenses could turn the tide this season, and that's something Pep needs to watch out for. Maresca's tactical evolution goes even deeper when you look at how he's applying positional play. We all know Pep's signature style: wide wingers stretching the pitch, creating space for midfielders to exploit. But Maresca, he's flipping that concept on its head. While Guardiola relies on his wide men like Jack Grealish and Jeremy Doku to stretch the game horizontally, Maresca is doing something different at Chelsea. Instead of keeping his wingers wide, he's using them as auxiliary playmakers. Take players like Mykhailo Mudryk or Noni Madueke. Under Maresca, they're not just hugging the touchline. Instead, they're coming inside, acting more like secondary number 10s. This movement creates central overloads that completely disrupt the opposition's defensive shape. This subtle but crucial difference in approach allows Maresca to flood the middle of the pitch with creative players. By pulling his wide attackers into more central positions, Chelsea is able to outnumber opponents in key areas, making it easier to break through tight defensive lines. It's not about width, it's about compact creativity. But that's not all. Maresca's fullbacks also play a pivotal role in this setup. Unlike Pep, who uses his fullbacks like Kyle Walker or Josko Gvardiol to invert into the half spaces, Maresca's fullbacks move even further inside, almost playing as additional central midfielders. This not only gives Chelsea more bodies in the middle, but also helps them control possession with more precision. Take a look at Malo Gusto's positioning. He's not just sitting wide and waiting for the ball, he's stepping into midfield, creating a back three when Chelsea is in position, while also giving the midfield more passing options. This fluid movement across the pitch keeps the opposition guessing, making it difficult for teams to settle into any defensive rhythm. Where Pep's focus is on using width to stretch defenses, Maresca's focus is compressing the middle, forcing teams to defend narrower, which in turn creates gaps elsewhere. It's a strategy that turns one of Pep's strengths into a potential weakness. Maresca's Chelsea attacks in waves, with players constantly shifting positions and creating confusion. Now, you might think this all sounds risky. Won't packing the middle leave Chelsea vulnerable on the counter? Normally, yes, but Maresca has thought about that too. His central dominance isn't just about offense. By overloading the midfield and keeping possession, he's limiting the number of times opponents even get the ball. And when Chelsea do lose possession, they're immediately pressing to win it back, using those central numbers to their advantage. In Pep's City, we often see fullbacks like Walker or Rico Lewis recover into defensive positions after inverting. But under Maresca, his fullbacks aren't simply retreating, they're part of the counter-press. By staying central, Chelsea's fullbacks are right there in the heart of the action, ready to stop counter-attacks before they even start. It's a tactical shift that changes the entire dynamic of how Chelsea plays, and for Pep, who's used to dominating with width and precision, Maresca's compact, central overloads could prove to be a real headache this season. If you're enjoying these deep dives into football's biggest tactical battles, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. We've got plenty more stories like this coming, where we break down the game beyond the headlines, tactics, rivalries, and the managers shaping the future of football. Don't miss out. Tactics are one thing, but the psychological edge can be just as important in modern football. And when it comes to man management, Enzo Maresca has learned from one of the best in the game, Pep Guardiola himself. But here's the interesting part. Maresca isn't just copying Pep's methods. He's developed his own style of handling players and controlling the dressing room. During his time at Manchester City, Maresca was known for his ability to command respect from players, even when he was managing the under-23s. Players and staff alike would hang on every word, a trait he's carried into his role at Chelsea. What sets Maresca apart is his ruthlessness. Like Guardiola, he demands absolute commitment and focus from his players, but he's not afraid to make big decisions if someone falls short. At Leicester, Maresca famously dropped young winger Enzo Maresca after scoring his first goal for the club, simply because his training wasn't up to standard. And it's the same at Chelsea. No matter how talented a player is, if they don't give 100%, they'll find themselves sidelined. This level of accountability is something Guardiola has mastered at City. Just look at how he handled João Cancelo last season. But Maresca takes it a step further. His players know that one bad week of training could see them out of the squad entirely. But it's not all about tough love. Maresca, much like Guardiola, knows how to build confidence in his players. At Chelsea, he's been patient with underperforming talents, like striker Nicholas Jackson, who had a tough start to the season. Instead of dropping him, Maresca continued to play Jackson in key matches, showing faith in the forward's ability to turn his form around. This combination of ruthlessness and support is what makes Maresca's man management style so effective. Pep, of course, is a master of this psychological balance too. His players often talk about how he can reinvent their understanding of the game, pushing them to new levels. Riyad Mahrez once said that working under Guardiola made him feel like he knew nothing about football before joining City. Maresca brings a similar level of football intelligence to Chelsea, constantly pushing his players to think differently and adapt to new challenges. Players like James Justin have praised Maresca for opening their eyes to the game in ways they'd never seen before. Now, this psychological edge creates a fascinating dynamic between the two managers. Pep, having dominated English football for years, is used to being the one with the upper hand, mentally and tactically. But Maresca's deep understanding of Guardiola's methods, combined with his ability to motivate and discipline his squad, could turn the mental game on its head. He knows how Pep operates, but more importantly, he knows how to get inside his players' heads and bring out their best performances when it matters most. And let's not forget the tactical mind games. Guardiola often keeps his cards close to his chest when it comes to his lineups and tactical plans, but Maresca, he's not afraid to make bold decisions. Whether it's dropping key players or switching formations mid-game, Maresca's unpredictability gives him a psychological advantage. Chelsea's ability to adapt and surprise opponents could unsettle Pep, who thrives on control and meticulous planning. In the high-stakes world of Premier League football, where the margins between victory and defeat are razor-thin, Maresca's fearless approach to man management could be the difference maker. Guardiola has dominated for years, but with Maresca in the picture, he may have found a manager who can outthink and outmaneuver him, not just on the pitch, but in the minds of his players as well. Enzo Maresca's tactical setup at Chelsea isn't just about structure, it's about unlocking the full potential of his players. One of the biggest transformations under his leadership has been Cole Palmer, who's thrived in the number 10 role. By positioning Palmer centrally, Maresca has turned him into Chelsea's creative engine, linking up with the attack and driving forward with purpose. It's a shift that's made Chelsea's attack unpredictable. Meanwhile, Enzo Fernandez has flourished in a more advanced role, thanks to Maresca's use of inverted fullbacks like Malo Gusto. This allows Fernandez to play higher up the pitch, dictating the tempo and linking play in dangerous areas. The tactical freedom Maresca gives his fullbacks and midfielders has turned Chelsea into a team that can dominate possession while staying unpredictable. Maresca's system contrasts with Guardiola's focus on width, where wingers like Jack Grealish stretch the field. Instead, Maresca's Chelsea compresses the centre, pulling players like Mudryk and Madueke inside as playmakers, creating central overloads that pull defences apart. This compression allows Chelsea to dominate the middle, while still having the flexibility to switch to wide play when needed. The impact on players like Nicholas Jackson has been clear too. Despite a tough start, Maresca's continued faith in him has helped Jackson find his rhythm, offering new dimensions to Chelsea's attack. For Pep, this presents a real tactical headache. City are used to controlling midfield, but Maresca's compact, creative overloads could disrupt that control, especially with Chelsea's ability to adapt between wide and central play. It's this tactical versatility that makes Chelsea a real threat to Guardiola's dominance. Pep Guardiola has faced many challenges, but Enzo Maresca could be his toughest yet. Unlike Mikel Arteta or Arne Slot, Maresca isn't just imitating Pep's methods, he's evolving them. Having worked alongside Guardiola at Manchester City, Maresca understands Pep's tactics better than anyone. He knows how City dominates possession, and more importantly, how to disrupt it. What makes Maresca so dangerous is his adaptability. Where other teams like Arsenal try to outplay City using a similar style, Maresca's Chelsea offers something different. His system combines central dominance with tactical flexibility, allowing them to switch between overloads in midfield and quick wide play. This unpredictability is exactly what Guardiola fears. Maresca's inside knowledge of City gives him a unique edge. He knows how Pep prepares, how City responds to pressure, and where their vulnerabilities lie. But more than that, Maresca isn't afraid to take risks, whether it's bold tactical switches or dropping key players. Guardiola may be a master of control, but Maresca's fearless approach could be the one thing that throws City off balance this season. With Chelsea gaining momentum, this isn't just another challenge for Pep. Maresca could be the one to finally outsmart him. The Premier League has seen many managers come and go, but few have posed a real threat to Guardiola's dominance. Enzo Maresca might just be the one to break that mold. His tactical evolution, combined with his deep knowledge of Pep's system, makes this season a fascinating tactical showdown. But here's the real question. As Chelsea's new identity continues to take shape, will Maresca be the man to finally crack Guardiola's code? Or will Pep, once again, find a way to stay one step ahead? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, this isn't just another season for Manchester City. The rivalry between Guardiola and Maresca is only just beginning, and it might be the battle that changes everything. And if you want to dive even deeper into how Maresca's tactical genius caught everyone off guard, check out our last video, Maresca's scary game plan no one expected. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one.